think they could go open one day?
I don't know.
What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So let's start today's video with the physique update of Urs Kalecinski, who is looking really huge right now in some of his recent physique updates. So the question of him switching to men's open bodybuilding is being asked over and over again. And now guess what? The best bodybuilder on the planet, the reigning Mr. Olympia Lunsford, also asked the same question to Urs in one of his recent YouTube videos.
I have to prove something.
Okay.
Like you did in 2012.
I completely agree.
Now Urs did say that he has some business to take care of in Classic Physique first. And that means he wants to win at least one Mr. Olympia title in Classic before he thinks about switching to men's open bodybuilding. Now, is that even possible or not? That is a separate debate. But how long will Urs continue to restrict the food, restrict his growth? Because clearly his body wants to grow. And that is a very crucial question. Because even a guy like Jay Cutler, he also told him to feed his body. I mean, the man had striated glutes at the Pittsburgh Pro guest posing. That is how lean he stayed post-Arnold Classic UK, which was the last competition of the season until the Olympia for him. And that was about 8 weeks back. So, as of right now, the possibility of Urs switching to men's open bodybuilding, that is almost zero. Because let's be real, even with him restricting his food all year round, so that he doesn't blow up, so that when he diets down for the competition, he doesn't have to suffer extremely hard to make the weight cutoff. Because if he blows up too much, the weight making process is gonna become almost impossible for him. But even with all these scenarios going against him, he still has been top 3 in the world for the last 2 years. And yes, I know he did face a setback at this year's Arnold Classics, both at Ohio and in UK, because now there is a new player who is taking a top spot for sure. But in any imaginary scenario, it is gonna take Urs some years to put on enough mass, enough size on his frame, to be big enough to be a threat at the Olympia level in the men's open class. Now, he has top-tier aesthetics, there is no doubt about that. But there is plenty of work that needs to be done, especially in his back. Because that is one of the main reasons Urs isn't placing as high as we expect him to place. And same is gonna be the case in the men's open bodybuilding as well. He cannot place high without having a good back. William Bonac's 3 weeks out physique update is next. The long-awaited comeback is finally happening. And William Bonac is going to be stepping on stage first at Emperor Classic Spain, aiming to get a win, and of course the Olympia qualification as well. Because this year, 2024, this might very well be the last ride for William Bonac. So the next show that he's going to do is Portugal Pro. So Bonac seems extremely confident with his current conditioning, with his current look. And rightfully so. I believe he can just cut the water and step on the stage whenever he wants to. But I have to say, it isn't really a surprise that a top guy like William Bonac is so ready at 3 weeks out of the show. So Bonac won't be lacking the conditioning in comparison to the competition. Even against a guy like Behruz Tabani, I think he's gonna have the conditioning. But I do believe that he's gonna get beaten on the width by multiple guys. For instance, Michal Krizo and also Behruz Tabani. Unless William Bonac brings exploding fullness to the stage, he's gonna get beaten in some shots, like the front lat spread, like the front relaxed. So Bonac is doing Portugal Pro after Spain, and Nathan Tiesha might also do that show, because he did hint about doing that show a couple of days back. So, are you guys seeing any scenario where William Bonac struggles to even qualify for Mr. Olympia? Well, in his last show, which was the Arnold Classic 2023, he got beat by Akeem Williams, and that wasn't even the best of Akeem Williams. So, I have to say a lot of pressure on Stefan and of course William Bonac to deliver this season and get to the Olympia stage. So talking about Emperor Classic Spain, Michal Krizo is going to be the man to beat here, as he is the defending champion here. So he has been training under the eyes of his coach for the last few weeks or so. And we have to give credit to his trainer, and of course also his coach, Alexander Hlobic. Apologies if I'm pronouncing the name wrong. Because when Krizo switched to the IB Pro League from the Elite, there was a lot of chatter out there and a lot of suggestions that Michal Krizo should go with a new coach as well, if he wants to bring the next level of conditioning, that high level of conditioning, so that he can compete well against the IB pros. So this is Michal's 3rd year in the Pro League. He has won 2 pro shows already. He has placed runner-up against a guy like Samson Dauda. That was at Prague last year. He improved his placings at the Olympia level as well. He went from 12th to 7th in just 1 year. He took care of his posing problems. He took care of his conditioning problems. And the last show that he did, Prague Pro, no one had a single complaint about his conditioning at that show. The only criticism that Krizo has right now is that he doesn't appear wide, especially from the back, in both of the back shots. He needs a wider back, and he needs bigger glutes. And that's pretty much it. Other than that, he looks extremely impressive. And the man looks really ready to defend his title at Emperor Classic Spain in less than 4 weeks' time now.
I mean, honestly, it's fair game because of the physique that I brought. It wasn't up to par. You know what I mean? So the criticism is fair. You know, if people are saying that, cool. We gonna let them talk, but we'll see what y'all gotta say on June 9th. We'll see what's up then.
So who is excited to see Quinton Beastwood bring a much bigger and a much fuller package at Toronto Pro stage in less than 3 weeks' time now? So failing to hit his peak at the New York Pro, that was certainly disappointing for us fans. But I have to say it was more disappointing for Quinton Beastwood himself, and I'm sure for his coach as well. And the criticism on his physique, that I have to say is fair, because he failed to deliver. But obviously Quinton did not appreciate all these comments about him switching to a classic physique, which I agree with. It doesn't make any sense. I believe these are the same people who advised Rafael Brandao to switch to classic physique division. I believe those same people are now advising Quinton Beastwood to try and compete in classic physique, which I have to say is not even possible. I mean, for Quinton to make the weight cutoff, he is gonna have to chop off one of his legs. I mean, the guy went up to 330 pounds in the off-season. So Quinton could have done California Pro, which is happening this weekend. But there just wasn't enough time for him and his coach Matt Jensen to fill him up to a point where it makes a significant difference in size. And he obviously doesn't want to compromise on his conditioning aspect as well. So for those of you guys who do not know, at New York Pro last weekend, Quinton weighed 263 pounds on the stage. And right now in these updates, about 2 weeks out of Toronto Pro, he is 271 pounds. And he believes he can duplicate that same conditioning at 280 pounds. But I have to say, even if he can bring that same conditioning at let's say 270 or 271 pounds, that is still gonna be a lot of muscle in 3 weeks' time. So let's see if Quinton can do that or not. And maybe the expectations set by us fans, and of course Quinton himself, they were just far too high going into this year's New York Pro. Personally, I never said that Quinton is gonna be a threat to Nick Walker. But the fact is, a lot of us had him at least in the top 3, and as high as second. And I also thought that he could be second here at the New York Pro. And I have to say, it was kinda lucky for him that the judges gave him a second chance, because at first glance, it didn't even look like that Quinton is gonna make top 6, because he wasn't even in the first call out of 6 guys initially. So the New York Pro was a learning experience for both Quinton and his coach Matt Jensen, and I believe we are gonna see a much better version of him at Toronto Pro. So California Pro is right around the corner, and I wanna talk about Krystian Wolski, who surprised us all by placing top 5 at the New York Pro. So when we talk about having a great shape, Wolski fits that criteria, or what Milo says, #bodybuilding. Big flaring quads, great V-taper, and on top of that, amazing conditioning. That is what Milos also means. So he brought an amazing package at the New York Pro. He's working with the same coach as Andrea Presti. And Presti is always in a great shape and conditioning. And judging by those photos or pictures of Volski, he might be even better here at Cali Pro. So one of the most significant change that Wolski brought in his physique in the last year is the insane amount of improvements that he was able to make in his back. He looks altogether a different bodybuilder from the back, especially in comparison to 2023. And I have to say he is a solid contender for the top 3 here at California Pro, especially if he can duplicate that same conditioning that we saw last weekend. But their aim is to bring an even better package. So this guy is coming into his own. And I believe this is gonna be an exciting talent to watch out for in the future. And do let me know what you guys think. Should he have placed higher than top 5 at the New York Pro? Also hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video. And smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.